so many syllables, I take away your nerves.
We gotta hurry up and get there before all the action's gone. We gotta get.
Yeah, we got that right.
Gotta get in on that action. Gotta get in on that action.
You gonna do a U-turn here?
Yeah. Let's go. Let's go.
Synapses till your whole flow collapses.
Hey, get the fuck out of the road!
Fuck you. Hey, get the fuck out of the way. Fuck you.
Hey, get the fuck out of the road!
So they're sitting right there in a plain white car, and I'm crossing the street. They didn't have the blinkers on, so they weren't going left, they weren't going right. I thought I could go ahead and cross. But as I'm crossing, they do a donut just right in the middle of the road.
It happened at 4th and M Streets in South Louisville.
And when they do the donut in the middle of the road, they almost hit me.
Hey, police!
All right, here's a grand jury testimony of Joel Casey, and then later on you're going to hear my testimony, okay? So this is before the grand jury in Jefferson County. There's 12 people all, looking at Joel Casey, and then later on they'll be looking at me. Both are about 5 minutes long, so check it out.
We're present with the Jefferson County Grand Jury. Today's date is March 27th, 2013. Present is Virginia Whittinghill, Assistant Commonwealth Attorney. Also present is Officer Cassie, who's going to stand to be sworn.
You do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Could you state your name for the record and where you're employed, please?
Detective Joel Cassie. I'm employed with the Louisville Metro Police Department on our Viper unit.
Okay.
Excuse me.
We're here with regard to the case of Commonwealth of Kentucky versus Jonathan Masters, who is charged with assault in the 3rd degree, resisting arrest, disorderly conduct in the 2nd degree, and menacing. Could you please explain to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury why he's been charged with these offenses?
Yes, ma'am. It was on December 7th at approximately 6 o'clock in the afternoon. We were in patrol in the area of South Louisville near Churchill Downs. We were in the area of 4th and M Street. We were looking for a suspect who was possibly involved in some armed robberies in the area. During that time, a robbery actually came out over our radio, and I saw a subject leaving an alley. I went to do a U-turn in the middle of 4th Street to catch up to that subject, and as I did so, Mr. Masters walked directly in front of my vehicle and caused me to come to a complete stop.
Sometimes so many syllables, I take away your nerves.
We gotta hurry up and get there before all the action's gone. We gotta get.
Yeah, we got that right.
Gotta get in on that action.
You gonna do a U-turn here?
Yeah. Let's go.
Synapses till your whole flow collapses.
Hey, get the fuck out of the road!
Fuck you. Hey, get the fuck out of the way. Fuck you.
Hey, get the fuck out of the road!
From there, he just stood in front of our vehicle, didn't move. My partner yelled out the side of the window for him to get out of the way. At that point, Mr. Masters looked at us, raised his hands, and yelled obscenities at us to the point that he was threatening us. I circled around Mr. Masters as he stayed exactly where he was at. And at that point, I realized that the robbery was not in our area. They dispatched him over the entire channel, but it wasn't in our area. I pulled onto the side of 4th Street, stopped to talk to Mr. Masters, and as I did so, I could see him start to charge towards me. I went to exit my vehicle completely, and he was still more than 10 feet away and was now at a dead sprint running towards me. As I was exiting my vehicle, I was raising my hands, yelling, "Police! Police! Police! Police!" And as he closed the distance, he swung and struck me in the left side of my face.
What the fuck he say? Got Get this motherfucker.
You're talking shit.
Hey, police!
After he struck me one time, I grabbed him by the inside of his shirt. I drove him away from our car and into the middle of 4th Street to get away from, into the middle of N Street to get away from 4th Street because it's a busy street. I don't know if you travel that. As I did so, he continued to swing on me, and I continued to yell police. My partner exited from the passenger side of my vehicle and tackled both of us to the ground. As we fought still on the ground, he continued to punch at me. I swung one time with the right hand, and I missed, and actually struck the concrete because he was moving around. After I struck the concrete, I immediately came back with the left hand, and I struck him in the middle of his face, and subdued him to the point where I could put him in handcuffs. I hit him one time, and put him in handcuffs, rolled him over, and that was the end of that exact incident.
Put your hands behind your head. Put your hands behind your head.
Axis, I can smash this round and obliterate the next. Crash and twist, I tough guys when I titrate my text. Lyric chop like a guillotine, all hopped up on creatine. No, it's raw shit, no synthetic polypropylene. So fresh and so clean, every line that I compose. You're polished and shining, be on your game or get the pose. Like dictates,
You got the handcuff.
little slow, but
You got any handcuff?
And did this happen in Jefferson County, Kentucky, sir?
Yes, ma'am, it did.
Okay. Do you have any questions of this officer?
I have a question.
Yes,
Did
ma'am.
you have your uniform on?
I did not. We're a plainclothes unit. We were driving an unmarked car. I had on a flannel jacket, a t-shirt. I had a hat. I had a t-shirt underneath my jacket that says police on it. I had my gun belt on with my police radio. My partner had his badge around his neck, and I had his gun and his gun belt on as well.
When he originally came out in the street and stopped you, did you identify yourself then as a police officer?
When I was trying to do a U-turn, I had not. It was when I was exiting the vehicle and he was actually sprinting towards me is when I was yelling police. So before he struck me, I had my hands in the air yelling police. Because my hands in the air, I was able to kind of cover myself to the point he didn't knock me unconscious, luckily. And I was able to defend myself.
Did you say he was with the Viper unit?
Yes, sir. Okay. Yes.
Was he jaywalking?
We don't necessarily have a charge of jaywalking in Louisville. It's kind of a pedestrian yield right away to a motor vehicle, but he walked out in front of my vehicle, yes.
Have you ever met Mr. Masters before?
No, I had not. Prior to that.
You didn't know Mr. Masters at all?
He wasn't intoxicated?
I couldn't deem him that he was intoxicated. He told me he was on his way to the store to get a beer, but to me, he didn't seem intoxicated at the time. He actually told me he was having a bad day. He was fighting with his girlfriend. That's why he charged my vehicle, and he picked the wrong vehicle, basically.
He didn't have no weapons on?
No weapons, no, sir.
Anything else?
What was the age of Mr. Masters?
I believe 31, 32.
Anything else? All right. Wait outside for
Yes,
me.
ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Cassie.
They were swinging at me.
Let me get to the points here. When you first encountered this white vehicle, did you see any blue lights on this vehicle?
Not at all.
Did you
No.
see any police markings on this vehicle?
No, it was just a plain white Taurus.
Did you see a badge on this man that first got out of the car?
No.
Did you see any police identification on this guy that first got out of the car?
I saw plain clothes and a plain car.
Did you see anything before you gave up that would have indicated that these were police officers?
Just what I told you. As soon as they said police officers, I looked at their face. They was genuine. I saw the badge underneath Mr. Casey's flannel. And
Hey! Fuck you!
Hey, get the fuck out of the way!
Fuck you! Hey, get the fuck out of the road!
The Viper Unit, Violent Incident Prevention Enforcement and Response. The Viper Unit. So that's the new gang in town. It's not just the LMPD anymore, but now they're doing some, what's that movie with Michael, let's say Crichton maybe? Michael Crichton. It's about a corrupt cop rogue unit that did good shit. So that's what it sounds like they're doing. They got a rogue fucking militia unit, the Viper unit. The Viper unit, go hotspots of violent crimes, the city's worst offenders, hunt down fugitives, battle gang activity. According to a memo from Police Chief Steve Conrad, obtained by the Courier Journal. Steve Conrad, okay, there's our police chief, Steve Conrad. Steve Conrad is the person that's running Louisville. He's the militia, he's the military. In Egypt, when they took over Mubarak and they was able to wipe that leadership out, you still had SCAP, you still had the Security Council Armed Forces. The armed forces, the fucking militia. And the militia is going to get high praise for, maintaining democracy and letting the elections continue, but they try to fuck everybody over right at the very end. And every time you see the people gather on the streets, it's always the police that's opposing them.
Sent to the hospital with a broken nose and 2 black eyes. Just ahead, what he says led to the violent confrontation with police.
Now listen to Stefan Johnson, Uncle Tom extraordinaire, twist my troubles into a bullshit, unfair, and unbalanced approach.
Charges will not be filed in the deadly daycare van crash, but the justice system isn't through with the owner of the center yet.
There's going to be waves of rain and thunderstorms over the next couple of days. I'll pinpoint when we could see strong...
When you went up, did you hear that guy getting out say police?
No.
When you were being backed up, did you hear that guy at all say police?
No.
At what point in time did you hear him say police?
I heard police after Aaron Browning had come over to me, and I believed it was Aaron Browning, but he had said in his testimony that he didn't say it, so
Okay.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. I'm Jennifer Bayless.
And I'm David Scott. Right now, Metro Police are trying to serve a warrant on a man they believe was involved in stealing band equipment from an area high school.
He has locked himself inside his home in the Portland neighborhood. Metro Police have recovered most of that stolen band equipment.
And is that, and you also have divided this into 2 separate parameters within this one incident. One where there were thugs and one where there were police.
Right.
Okay? At what time, in your mind, did they turn from thugs into people who were genuinely police officers?
When they said there was police officers and when I believed the genuineness on their face and when I saw the badge.
Now, Mr. Price also asked you about...
Punks have got this attitude. Punks and jaywalkers. There ain't nothing worse than a jaywalker.
Oh, fuck them jaywalkers.
Fuck a jaywalker. These jaywalkers, they start jaywalking, then it's into drugs, murder, and then it's just downhill from there.
Slippery slope, man. Slippery slope.
Slippery slope like a motherfucker.
Motherfuckers be slipping.
We doing this undercover beat, so we wear regular clothes and shit. We drive around, we do as we please. Try to pick fights and shit. If it gets out of hand, we just say, hey, we're police, and it's all cool. We're the cops. We above the law. So
we run this shit.
Yeah, we run this shit. We run this whole town. Nobody gonna stop this. Bloods and Crips ain't got nothing on us. We Leviathan.
A Louisville man is sent to the hospital with a broken nose and 2 black eyes that he says he got from Metro police officers.
WDRB Stefan Johnson explains why the man injured is the one now facing charges. Stefan.
Well, Jennifer, both sides agreed this started with a verbal confrontation and quickly turned violent.
Lies. This motherfucker's already lying about me. I wonder how long it took him to decide to turn against me. Like 1 minute after he got all the footage and all my medical bills and all the pictures, maybe 10 minutes. I bet he talked to my Topics terrorist troll. Fucking Dahmer. I don't know his name, but that's his fucking name to me. He's as sick as Jeffrey Dahmer, so I don't know if he talked to him and just, believed what he had to say. The LMPD police brutality incident did not start with a verbal confrontation. It started when they tried to fucking murder me with their car. Right? They tried to fucking kill me. It was a attempted vehicular manslaughter. A vehicle is like a bullet, okay? It's like a 2,000-pound bullet. And you could kill people, right? You could kill people by running into them. So that's it's smart to actually recognize that a machine, it is what they used to call it, cars can kill people. So that's his total fucking bullshit, right? So he's saying the incident was it started over a verbal spat. No, it didn't start over a verbal spat. It started with them trying to fucking run me over, right? Then after they try to fucking run me over, they tell me to fuck off, get out of the fucking middle of the road. Then they jumped out in the middle of the intersection at downtown Louisville looking for a fucking fight. So when you put all those elements combined, it's not just a verbal confrontation. They was looking for a beatdown. They wanted to jump me, okay? So that's what the fucking LMPD wanted to do. That just, Stefan Johnson's a lying piece of shit. He also is not fair and balanced, right? So he's going to keep the officers' names confidential since the police's name remain invisible, right? Just the police, just the Leviathan. But actually, even a lot of the officers in murder cases, right, don't even get released. And like Johann Stimley, he was involved in Clifford Lewis's Clifford Lewis Jr.'s murder in 2001. And there was about a dozen other officers that were on the scene. None of them were identified. So you had one guy got jumped by 12 fucking undercover, plainclothes, white men, right? And none of those names of those officers who was involved in that wolf packing, beat down, murder, whatever you want to fucking call it. None of them were ever identified by the media, and none of them ever got any charges. The only people that got charges was Clifford. Was Johann Stimley, which he was eventually exonerated for. So, for some reason, when the fair and balanced reporters, like Stefan Johnson reports this news piece, he forgets to mention the officers' names, and then...
Big Birds on the mic for you one time. Sick as fuck is as sick as fuck does. So how sick is this? Yeah.
Using my blinkers. I usually don't always do my blinkers. Next stop, I ain't gonna use my blinkers.
We the cops, we ain't gotta do that.
Come on, it's Mr. Jess, yes, big verbal. Herbal's got my mind way up high like purple haze. I amazed by phrasing, particular rhymes so fine they itch my testicular regions. I got legions of 4-letter words.
Don't they see the 99%? The police are the 99%. They're in the same economic group as the rest of us. But I guess they see middle and poor, and they go after the poor. Two-tiered justice system. If you got a lawyer, then you got legal protection. If you don't have a lawyer, watch your fucking back. You have to watch out for corrupt criminal citizens, and you have to watch out for the corrupt criminal cops. You gotta look over your back for both of these gangs. And they all gangs. Republicans, Democrats, the police, FBI, ATF, Homeland Security. That's why they can't even get along with each other. Homeland Security is supposed to try to get them all together. So, Viper's units' duties are currently spread throughout Louisville Metro Police among beat officers, investigations, narcotics, and other units. So no, they never had a violent division, a anti-violent division. So, good thinking. The Viper unit be made of 31 people, Lieutenant, 5 sergeants, 25 detectives. If you're going to be in the West End, get some black people in there. Black people should be policing themselves, okay? You want to cut down on the racial profiling? Raise black people up from their own ranks, put a badge on one of them, make one of them a cop. Make several of them police. None of them should be from the outside. None of them should be white. Maybe one. We can have affirmative action for the white people too. But first things first. So Steve Conrad said a bunch of people working very, 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 very hard, but the resources were not dedicated in a single unit. So this is Steve Conrad's baby, his pet pilot project, the Viper unit. 31 people, Lieutenant, 5 sergeants, 25 detectives. Positions have not been filled. All commanding officers' detective positions will be chosen through interviews. The Viper unit will launch at the close of business on September 29th.
Later on, he's going to have a piece of paper, and he's like, but that's not what this piece of paper says, right? He couldn't get them on camera because they don't want to talk to that asshole, during ongoing investigation because I don't know fucking why. They keep secrets, that's why. And they don't want to give you any footage, right? But he picked up a piece of paper and he's like, but that's not what this piece of paper says right here. It says that they were announcing police the whole time. So, they maliciously they maliciously prosecuted me on top of me getting fucking attacked, right? And then now this motherfucker is just sitting there saying that the lies of the police are, he's reporting it like it's true.
Along with other changes. So the end of next month is when the Viper unit will be out and about on patrol. The Viper unit. September, October. That's 1 month before the election. So the Viper unit goes out and about to combat violence, right? So we ain't violent. Occupy is not violent. We're non-violent. We're committed to non-violence. We know exactly what the fuck they'll do if there is violence. They want us to be violent. So this is the biggest change that's due by Conrad since he became chief in March. Steve Conrad has been police chief since March. It's now August 30th, 4:37 a.m. Mayor Greg Fisher hired Conrad from Glendale, Arizona, where he'd also been police chief, but Conrad previously had been a lead administrator in LMPD. He was deeply involved in the 2003 merger of the old police department and Jefferson County Police.
And, it's fucking bullshit, right? So, Joel Casey, right before this entire thing went down, he was actually chasing a black man in an alley. He said he saw a black man on a bicycle in an alley, and that's why he was spinning around, because of this murder thing. And then he says there's he has an informant, a prostitute was informing him of this other thing. So he's getting his stories crossed, Is the man for the robbery? Is the man because he's a violent criminal in the area? Which one is it? So he tries to get them, mixes the two, so he pretends as if, like, one is related to the other. But the...
Big Birds on the mic for you one time. Sick as fuck is as sick as fuck does. So how sick is this? Yeah.
Community's focus on violent crime became more urgent issue after a shocking daylight shooting in the Parkland neighborhood in May, which got national coverage. That's probably the more dramatic part of that, right? It's bad PR is what the way fucking Fisher looks at it. So, blah blah blah, more shit. LMPD Sergeant Chad M. Cunningham blames racial profiling on kids doing vandalism. So police chief sergeant, the LMPD, Louisville Metro Police Department.
It was a black man on a bicycle. That's what he specifically said, was a black man on a bicycle. That's the reason he said he pulled a donut. That's the reason he did a 360 U-turn in the middle of the road, in the middle of an intersection in downtown Louisville, and he thought that black man on the bicycle was the man responsible, right, for the bank robbery all the way in Bardstown, since he fit the description of being a black man. All right, that's all you needed to... that's all you really need to be to get the suspicion of Joel Casey or the LMPD, really in general. That's the culture. It's been the culture. Johann Stimley killed Clifford Lewis Jr. So he was the one that's in charge of the Viper Squad, and Joel Casey was the one exercising Viper Squad authority when he attacked me. So, that black man could have been you, Stefan. Stefan, that could have been you. And you're sitting there going to turn against me, but that's fucking bullshit. Malcolm X is right. The media will make you hate the victims, and it will defend and make you love the oppressors. So, but it's also WDRB, which is a fucking far right-wing outfit. It's like the Fox News for Louisville, so it's the only far right-wing news outfit in Louisville. So I'm sure they feel like they're being picked on because Louisville typically is more democratic. But WDRB, they are the ones that actually are putting out the police brutality. At least they started out good, but then eventually they, that's why he set the fucking video up the way he did.
See, she ain't jaywalking. Wait, maybe what she
did you see that?
Yeah, I saw it. I'm waiting for
What do you think this is?
Didn't see the jaywalking.
Crossing corner to corner and shit.
What? Man, I wish I would have saw that. That dude was on a cell phone back there. I don't know what he's all about. He gonna break into some house or some shit?
Looks suspicious. We got 314 in progress. All units respond. 314 in progress. All units respond.
314!
Oh, let's go get that! Let's go get that!
Robbery!
We got robbery! Shit!
But you might be surprised at who threw the first punch. This is what Jonathan Masters looked like in early December. He says 2 Metro police officers gave him a broken nose, lots of bruises, and thousands of dollars in medical bills.
Okay, with this part you gotta listen real close because it's just whispering. But what's happened is that old Cracker Jack, right? That big, black, tall bailiff. That's what Judge Delahunty was calling that big and tall black bailiff. Old Cracker Jack, right? That was his pet name. So old Cracker Jack actually comes in and he tattles on my mother. And my mother, the prosecutor had her exit the room because he didn't want her to be in the, into the jury trial. He didn't want the jurors to see that I had a mother because it humanizes me. So he had her removed because he said that he was going to put her on the stand. So, he used a technicality, a fucking tactic just to get her out of the room. Well, while she was sitting there outside, not seeing what's going on, not, being a part of any of the process, eventually the jury goes out and they were excused, and she went over and introduced herself. She just says, hello, my name's Lucy and I'm Jonathan's mother. And that's all she says, right? That's it, right? Just introduced herself and that was it. And I guess they were probably stunned, like, oh my God, like the judge just warned us and now you're talking to us. Why are you doing this? And then they told the fucking, the bailiff, and then the bailiff here is telling the judge what my mother had done.
Oh, well.
This was when we first cleared the court. So she just said, you are jurors. I'm his mom. And so I've sent her down
Look.
there. She's not allowed to hear it all.
Okay.
Here's a clip of Joel Casey when he first called the police brutality incident in. This is December 7th, 2012, around 6:10 p.m. or so. So this is actual, right after he just beat the shit out of me and give me $28,000 in medical bills. Now we have a recording and this is what he's saying right afterwards.
Me, one of these, fucking Americans out here, one of these Louisville citizens, I had one of them try to fight me. So, these are Joel Casey's words. These are the words that was used during the broadcast. And here, actually, I can have, I'll play it again because his is the very first one, right?
Viper 32 radio.
Viper 32, so he's Viper Squad.
Ma'am, hold us out at 4th and M. Just had one try to fight us. See if you have a CO on channel.
Just had to have one fight.
Are you 1086?
One try to fight us.
10-4, 1086, disregard Sergeant away.
One of the zombies? One of the aliens? One of the what?
David 1023. David.
Who are y'all's enemies? Who's the enemies of the LMPD? Just had one of them try to fight us. I just had one of them try to fight us.
Radio.
Viper 32.
Ma'am, hold us out at 4th and M. Just had one try to fight us. See if you have a CO on channel.
Okay, so are you 1086?
10-4, 1086, disregard Sergeant away.
1804.
531 David 1023.
531 David, 1804.
Okay, so
I tried to, show before, but essentially what he's saying is just that he had just about had one of them fight us. That's what he told the dispatch, right? Joel Casey, he doesn't even admit that I fought him. He just says that I tried to fight him, right? So it's not even a fight according to him when he first calls it in. Later on, Joel Casey is going to say that he just had one of them fight us. So who is one of them and who is us? Us is the police. Us is the LMPD. That's clearly who us is, right? Us good people, us dispatchers, us prosecutors and judges, us on this side of the law. Who is one of them? Well, us is the police, right? One of them is Joe Q Public. One of them is you and her and him and everybody in the fucking public. So one of them goddamn Louisvillians try to fight us. That's what Joel Casey is calling in. One of them goddamn Louisvillians try to fight us because, this is Fallujah and we're the Iraqis that are about to be genocided. Or the Gazans, right? Pick your fucking victims. That's when I was skeptical, but I surrendered. Even though I was skeptical, I behaved as if they were police.
Okay, now, when Officer Cassie comes back at you. You're backing up, right?
Yeah.
And you're engaged, right?
Right.
And then this other guy comes out, right?
Right.
Were you really focused with what was on his chest at that time?
Not at all, no. I saw two people. I was outnumbered, so I had to see, I thought he was going to go behind me or something. I didn't.
So did you have any opportunities to see that badge on his chest?
I feel like if I would have saw it, it would just been like a blur because he was coming towards me and I'm in the middle of this scuffle.
Okay. And I want to be clear so the jury understands your testimony because we went through it about several different times just a little while ago.
Morrison knew how to do that, the ins and outs of how to find the information. He had context. People were jealous, I think. People have their own ideas for the revolution, and that's why Occupy Louisville has completely dissipated into fucking nothing. There's some embers that are still alive, just like the labor movement, the militant labor movement. So, Cunningham showed exactly why his profile is necessary. My friend is a grown-ass man. He's not a kid vandalizing downtown, and he's not throwing trash off a bridge. So, grown-ass man. So, Sergeant Cunningham, go fuck yourself. Sergeant Cunningham, what a dick. You're a dickhead. Sergeant Cunningham, you're an asshole. You just want to fucking keep on pushing people, keep on fucking flexing your stupid fucking muscle. Some bullshit, dude. Peaceful revolution. Day of rage. November 1st and November 6th. For 6 full days. Louisville will be shut down. Louisville will be shut down. Okay? No commerce. No movement until we get our 10 demands. We'll have 10 demands. Occupy will have 10 demands. And until we get our demands, this shitty city, which runs on electricity from LG&E, will be shut down. Hueyville. We're going to shut down Louisville, and we're going to resurrect Hueyville.
So the prosecution, Mr. Price, he was dying to put my many videos and posts about the, this incident and about police in general into the criminal jury trial, but instead the judge kept knocking all of those ideas down, especially the ACLU video. He didn't want the ACLU video in there because it's probably actually good advice for everybody, including this video right here. So I'm going to show you a video which I had posted actually several months prior to the Viper Squad menacing me, being disorderly, having disorderly conduct, assaulting me in resistance to the citizens' arrest that I was about to put on them. They're driving crazy, so I'm going to arrest these assholes. That's why these fucking thugs, these fucking asshole thugs, I'm going to arrest these motherfuckers, right? So, they want to sit there and say, that this stuff is all me, but they were actually the ones who resisted my arrest. I tried to arrest them, and, I wasn't able to do that, so maybe I should have just ran. They were the one being disorderly. They were the ones menacing. They almost ran me over with their fucking car, right? Attempted vehicular manslaughter, right? They tried to murder me, right? They tried to kill me. And then they assaulted me afterwards, so it was like, well, shit, we didn't run over him, so let's just kick his ass and sprinkle some crack on him and get on out of here. But they actually weren't even smart enough to sprinkle any crack on me. It's Dave Chappelle joke, but whatever. The vehicular manslaughter, right? They want to get malicious with their prosecution, then I have to do so too. They put 4 charges on me, including a fucking felony, a goddamn felony, because I went walking to the fucking store. Now I'm looking at 5 years in fucking prison because Joel Casey and Aaron Browning are fucking running wild and loose on the streets. You got a pack of fucking wild animals on the goddamn streets, and, we need to put them in the fucking zoo, and they need to get civilized. You don't want to have a bunch of wild fucking animals, with guns and badges. That just doesn't make any sense for anybody. So, they want to get malicious with the prosecution. Fuck them. They try to fucking kill me. And then they, that did start it all, every bit of it. And I bet they probably had something to do with JFK, too. I haven't researched deep into it enough, but I just got some suspicions. I got a sneaking suspicion.
So the Louisville Metro Police Department, you guys are racist and you guys suck. Earlier today I was riding my bike and I was just sitting on the corner waiting for people to go by, traffic to go by, and all these cops started rushing towards me. On a little scooter or whatever. There's 2 wheels. It's not, I don't think it's It's not a Segway, but it's one of those, like a three-wheel Segway. So he come up with a three-wheel Segway, and he said, move, get out of the way, go. He said, go, wherever you need to go. And I was like, fuck, I was just sitting here waiting for you fuckers. So I was like, fine. I just hopped on my bike, started pedaling down the sidewalk, and he was like, get off the sidewalk. It's illegal to ride on the sidewalk. Fucking hate people like that. Just to be ordering you, just to be fucking ordering you and shit. If that guy didn't have a fucking badge on, he wouldn't be shit. You hit a cop, you get 5 years in jail. I've heard cops come up to you and just bump you in the fucking chest. Just bump you in the chest. Daring you. I mean, how can, as a man, how do you just take somebody just coming up and fucking bumping into you like that? How do you accept that? You can't. And when it comes down to it, it's justice. You're allowed to defend yourself. And if they bump your chest, they take your their chest and bump it into yours, that motherfucker is wanting to fight. And you're allowed to hit that motherfucker. And the jury should acquit you of all charges because you defended yourself. And we all know the cops suck. Just recently, Louisville police reorganization would target violent crime. Just recently, fucking August 27, 2012. Now you're gonna fucking go after violent crime? Now you're targeting violent crime? We didn't have a violent crime division before? What the fuck are we doing, Louisville? What the fuck? Louisville's police chief? Who the fuck is this guy? We lose Robert White, so we had, you know, our Obama here. That was our Obama. Have we ever had a black mayor? When are we going to get a black mayor? Robert White leaves, and now who the fuck knows who this fucking dickhead is? They've had interim and this guy and that guy. Is it just Fisher? Is Fisher the only one that's the true police chief?
So I posted this video after I was waiting on my bicycle, right? I explained it in the video. LMPD officer comes up to me, threatened, yelling at me. He's basically a violent, fascist, totalitarian Nazi. He didn't even ask, hey, excuse me, sir, could you just move your vehicle? He went straight with, get the fuck out of the road or I'm gonna fucking beat the fuck out of you. What the fuck are you gonna do? That's LMPD, right? They think they can talk to people however the fuck they want to talk to people, and really, I mean, in a way, I had to submit to the thing, or, you know, I'm looking at, what, fucking 5 years in prison? He's going to start a fight, push into me and shit, and if I feel, you know, a natural defensive stance, then I'm going to get fucked over. But it's citizen's arrest. We're allowed to have citizen's arrest here in Kentucky. We got castle law, we got stand your ground law, so I stood my ground. I did not have to jump out of the fucking way just because a car is about to run into me, so I stood my ground, and when they jumped out, I legally had a right to just shoot them. So, you know, I didn't know who they were. They were jumping me right in the middle of the street. And it was right in my own backyard. They jumped me right in my own backyard. Who the fuck are you protecting and serving if you're not protecting the citizens in that community? And so they were not protecting and serving me. So, yeah, I was mad about it. I was mad about, you know, the entire fucking incident. And then I also talked about the Viper Squad, which had just been started. So it was a very prescient video. But because I had talked about defending myself sort of prior to the incident, it doesn't matter. It's out there now. But, you know, I had put it on private, but the LMPD fucking tapped into it, and they was able to get a hold of it somehow. So there's that fucking video. It's out now. But that's he wanted to put this video into the trial, but it didn't actually get into it. But there is a civil trial coming up, and I'm sure they're going to want to carpet bomb the fuck out of me. So I'm sure they're going to throw anything and everything they can. So here's that video. Or wait, you already saw that video. So the next thing, you know, and actually, everything I said about the Viper Squads, it's true, right? As men, you don't want cops just going around fucking with people because you're creating problems where they don't even exist. Where's Mayberry? Where's these cops that actually go around trying to solve people's problems and not just create a violent fucking confrontation so they can get some fucking sadistic, you know, the sadistic type of fucking pleasures on other people? So, this is my grand jury testimony, right? We got to hear Joel Casey's in the very beginning. Here's what I said to the grand jury testimony. Now, I want to note that none of my lawyers were present. When I went to the grand jury by myself, I'm looking at 12 individuals. So they're all lined up around me. She sits me up right in the main stand, and so I got a prosecutor, and then I got that person who you know, swore me in, so I think it's a police officer. So I have like a bailiff and a prosecutor that record me and 12 people all looking at me, and I go in there and I tell them what happened. When I was by myself, when I had no lawyers present, because they aren't allowed to go in there, but they didn't even give me advice for what I should or shouldn't say, or really what a grand jury was. I just researched it myself and figured it out. And so researched it myself and I figured it out, and then I talked to them. So when I was by myself in front of 12 people, I won this case. They actually knocked down the felony charge, and I only have the 3 misdemeanors to fight in district court. But they knocked the felony charge down, which was the point of the grand jury. They only check out felonies. So, when I was by myself with no lawyers, faced it with 12 people, I win 100% of the time. But when I go to fight these 3 misdemeanors, I'm going to have 2 lawyers on my side, but I'm only going to get 2 of the 3 charges knocked down. Game theory says that's pretty good, but I was looking for a fucking a grand slam, hit it out of the park. If all of them, they were the one menacing, they're the ones starting to shit with me, so all the fucking charges should have been dropped, and if all the charges would have been dropped, then this civil case would have been a no-brainer, but now they was able to get something on me, so they're a little bit guilty, I'm a little bit guilty, fuck it, who cares, let's not give them any money. And I think that's some bullshit, because I'm 100% not fucking guilty. They started this shit. If I didn't run into them assholes, they're the fucking psychos. They're going around looking for fights, and they're doing it for no fucking apparent reason whatsoever. So when I, in front of 6 people and 2 lawyers, I was batting 66%. By myself, in front of 12 people, 12 members of the public with 0 lawyers, I batted 1,000. So.
We're back on the record with regard to Commonwealth of Kentucky versus Jonathan Masters. Mr. Masters is the defendant in this case and has requested to be heard from the grand jury. I am told by the grand jury that the majority of them wish to hear from him, so he is here. Could you stand to be sworn, sir?
Yes. You do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, we're here with regard to cases that have been charged against you for assault in the 3rd degree, resisting arrest, disorderly conduct, and menacing. What is it that you can tell us about these charges that you think we should know?
I'll just tell you what happened, the whole thing.
Please.
Early December is about 6 p.m. It's dark, it's rainy, and just to give you a picture, here's 4th Street, and I'm going to walk to the store. So I'm walking 2 blocks behind my house, and I start walking down 4th Street. My house is here, and the store's right here. So I walk 1 block south on 4th Street, and the cross street is M Street. So I go to cross at the intersection. As I'm crossing at the intersection, there's a white car, a plain white car, just sitting there at the intersection. Didn't have any turn signals, so I thought I was just going to go straight through. So as I'm walking, it does a U-turn and about clips me in the legs, about hits me. And I think the reason why he got mad is because I didn't jump out of the way immediately. And when he about hit me with the car, he says, "Get the fuck out of the road." Right? This is a plain white car, no indication that they're any type of official capacity. They shout, "Get the fuck out of the way." And I said, "Fuck you." And as soon as I said, "Fuck you," so I'm walking here, and the car's like right behind me. As soon as I said, "Fuck you," so I'm walking, the car spins around in the middle of the intersection. So this is 4th Street and M Street, right in the middle of the street. So he spins around, and he's blocking my path from walking to the other side of the street. So, this guy's cussing at me. I don't know who he is. He about ran me over. He spins around in front of me, jumps out of the car, and he's wearing a flannel and a baseball cap. Okay? So there's, absolutely no indication that there's an official capacity. When he jumped out of the car, I swung at him. At first I was like, should I run? I don't know what's going on, but part of me was kind of like, these guys, I don't know who these guys are, so I don't know what they were capable of. So I swung at him, I hit him on the top of the head, it barely brushed the top of his head. And after I swung, he's sitting there swinging at me, and I'm blocking, and then the other guy jumps out of the car, and I'm like, oh my God, now there's 2 people. I'm just, I'm getting jumped here, and I don't know what's going on. Now there's 2 people. He comes over and he hits me twice in the chest. And after he hits me twice in the chest, he says, "We're the police." And then, they're the police? It didn't make any sense to me, so I stepped back and I had my hands raised up, and I was looking at them to kind of see if there was something on their bodies or on the car that said that they were police. And I saw very underneath this flannel there looked like to be a little badge. So I was like, okay. I didn't know y'all were the police, and I just kept my hands up. I was like, what do you want me to do? And they said, get down on the ground. So I got down on the ground on my back, and they said, put your hands behind your head. So I'm lying like this on the ground, and Officer Joel Casey, the man that you just talked to, he was the one in the baseball cap and the flannel. So when I'm on the ground, he swings and he's just going to hit me as I'm just lying there on the ground. So he swings his hand, and I move my head, and he hits right here. So he hits his hand on the concrete. So now he's mad already. He just punched the concrete, and he takes back with his left hand, and he just whack right in my nose, busts my nose all to pieces, like two pieces, and it's just bleeding all over the place. I've already had $28,000 in medical bills. Whenever I sleep, it whistles. Whenever I sleep, it's crooked now. So it's completely altered my face, and then that's pretty much the extent of the actual events. After he punched me, I'm bleeding all over the place. They take me off to the side. They ask me a bunch of questions. They take me down to the hospital. They get me checked out. Then they process me in jail, and then he maliciously prosecutes me. He's throwing assault a police officer. He's throwing disorderly conduct, menacing, and resisting arrest.
So you're saying he broke your nose?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, and I didn't quite understand what you meant when you said that it was split in half.
I said it broke into pieces, so I don't know if you can tell right now, there's a top piece right here, it's cracked. Okay. And then this other part, it was cracked too. So I've already had 2 reconstructive surgeries, and I need another reconstructive surgery. So, yeah. Do you have any more questions?
I do. Have you ever been and had any other problems with police anywhere?
Just speeding tickets and parking tickets.
That's it?
Well, I don't know. When I was 18, I took a gumball machine from Pizza Hut when I was on spring break in Florida.
We seem to have a note that there was a prior misdemeanor conviction for resisting a police officer in DuPage, Illinois. Do you remember anything about that?
DuPage County, yeah. It was attempted to resist, so it wasn't a resisting charge. It was plea bargained down to resisting. Attempted to resist. Yeah.
Okay. What was that about?
That was a pot charge in 2007 or 2008. I was on Ralph Nader's presidential campaign, and we were stressed out, so we walked outside and we smoked a joint, and the cops busted us.
And you've already got $28,000 worth of damage. You think there's going to be more?
There needs to be one more reconstructive surgery, because it's still crooked. I don't know if y'all can tell, but it's still.
And it wasn't that way before?
No, not at all.
Okay. And okay. And I guess you're pretty upset about the fact that you've got all these medical bills.
Yeah, overall I feel like the medical bills and the charges hanging over me, I didn't even want to go outside my house. I just felt like a monster. I just felt so ugly. It was worse than what it was now. It was like this. I feel like drop the charges, pay my bills, and just it just seemed like it was like a lightning bolt, It just seemed like I was walking down, and he kind of ran into me, and I kind of ran into him, and then, this thing had happened. But my feeling for the whole time has been just, fix my face and drop these charges.
Okay. Now, we got a letter from your attorney requesting that you be allowed to speak here, which of course was fine with us. And where is this attorney? Is he a Louisville attorney?
He's in Cincinnati, but Northern Kentucky is where the Eric Dieter's office is at.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you happen to know him? That's why you chose him?
Yeah. He's a friend of the family, so.
I see. Okay. Okay. Does anyone here have any questions of Mr. Masters?
Just one quick question. You said the officer didn't identify himself as a police officer until after the fight began?
Right, absolutely. Yeah, it wasn't until the second police officer comes in and hits me. He's the one that actually said, that they're the police.
Anyone else have a question? Okay. And you you know that what we're doing at this stage is not like a trial. We're here to determine whether...
Throw the indictment down on me? Is that sort of what's going on?
We're here to determine whether probable cause exists to believe that the offense occurred. And that...
A felony? The felony charge, right? And what the probable cause hearing is for?
Yes, the felony charge. Well, of these charges, the felony charge is an assault in the third degree, which is an assault on a police officer.
Right. Well, just to make sure I understand, so that you guys, if worst case scenario, y'all throw down the indictment and then there's a jury trial afterwards?
Well, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Well, there's a trial or the potential for a trial if you want one. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
That's it?
That's it. Thank you very much. And then you can wait outside if you want for us to see what the jury determines to do.
Thank you all for listening.
They say the reason why they got profiling is because the black kids are the ones doing the graffiti. You know, the black people are the ones doing the crime. That's what LMPD Sergeant Chad M. Cunningham. He's offered his insights on why the LMPD still makes unapologetic routine traffic stops based on racial profiling. Quote, if they, the LMPD, try to do the right thing and at least check this thing out, then they're doing it to mess with people. The kids vandalizing downtown are causing thousands of dollars worth of damage. And for the record, Mayor Greg Fisher's own bicycle costs more than $1,000. Cunningham was promoted as sergeant in February, graduated from the Sergeant Academy in June, probably thinks he's hot shit now. Curtis Morrison, man. Curtis Morrison was our fucking Morrissey. That was the only thing that we had close to institutionalized and occupy. And that's exactly what we need to do, especially here in Kentucky, in the red state, in the blue city, in the red state. We need to counter the Tea Party. We can have a strong counter Tea Party movement here. It's ready. It's ripe. People are waiting. We just gotta stand up and grab it. So, started when an African-American Facebook friend of mine was pulled over on his bicycle in downtown Louisville Thursday night by 3 LMPD cruisers. My friend writes about his experience in a Facebook status. He writes that the police told him they received a report of a man on a bicycle throwing a bag of trash off the 2nd Street Bridge. Spirited Facebook thread ensues. Friends giving him a hard time about riding a Huffy. I shoot off an ORR to find out. An open records request, an ORR, open records request. Curtis.
Oh, Mr. Price. No, we are on the record. There's a couple of things I want to talk about before we get started. So I reviewed the instructions that each has emailed me, and I've sort of created I'll just take all this stuff downstairs. All right. I will have a
You need me
seat.
to write on that case jacket, Judge, at all?
Not really.
So let's review Joel Casey's lies. He lied many fucking times in his grand jury testimony. Let's check those out. And, you know, Joel Casey, we find out, isn't above lying to save his own fucking ass. This entire incident started out with lies, and what a wrangled web we weave when we practice to deceive. I can't believe it's shocking. It's either he believes his own bullshit or he's a fucking experienced liar, and both of them are equally scary.
I went to do a U-turn in the middle of 4th Street to catch up to that subject, and as I did so, Mr. Masters walked directly in front of my vehicle and caused me to come to a complete stop. From there, he just stood in front of our vehicle, didn't move.
He says that I just stood there. So he's saying that I'm crossing the street, and he almost runs into me, and then I just stand there in defiance, right? So I'm just walking, they almost hit me, and then I'm just like, no, I will not move. I will stand right here. I'm walking here. Come on. And so that's what they're saying, that I stood right in the fucking middle of the road and I just stood there, not even trying to go anywhere, right?
My partner yelled out the side of the window for him to get out of the way.
Excuse me, kind sir, could you please get off to the side of the road? We are trying to, we are actually police, you know, you can't really tell because we got flannel jacket and we got the baseball caps and the the crazy driving and the lack of any markings on the car, no sirens, all of the above, right? The flannel. Did I mention the flannel? So all the.
At that point, Mr. Masters looked at us, raised his hands, and yelled obscenities at us to the point that he was threatening us.
He says that I was threatening them. I turned around, I made a threatening gesture, right? A gesture that was clearly threatening. So what would a gesture that's clearly threatening, what would that be? I mean, that would just be like if I wound up and I was ready to boom, right, punch you. That's a threatening gesture, right? He's going to say I did a mad dash, sprint, boom, boom, right? So those are types of, threatening gestures. But this is what everybody has testified to. This is what actually happened, right? They said, get the fuck out of the road, and I said, fuck you. And I just threw up my hand like this, and I kept walking. So, just get the fuck out of the road. Fuck you. Keep on walking. Listen, maybe I should do that a little bit better. Okay, so. Just get the fuck out of the road. Fuck you. And that's it, right? I think I'll do it one more time because I want to hit in the middle, right? So, get the fuck out of the middle of the road. And fuck you. And then that's it. That's the fucking gesture. Fuck you. Fuck you. Right? Fuck. Whatever. Like, fuck you. Whatever. Fuck it. If you say so. If you say so. I'm threatening. Okay. Whatever. Fuck it. I bet you're real fucking scared, right? I did it all those times. What the fuck? Whatever. Whatever. Whoa. Chill out, man. I just said whatever. Whoa. Calm down. But I just said whatever. Whoa. Okay. We're going to have to put you down. We're going to do a citizen's arrest on you. And so that's, I was doing a citizen's arrest. There's a fucking psycho driver on the fucking middle of the road. They're going around, jumping people. That's bullshit. I didn't want that shit to happen in my community, so I took a fucking stand, right? They said I did a dead sprint. I just fucking charged that. So that's another thing. He also says that, okay, once I say fuck you, he spins the car around. He spins the car around me, right? In the middle of the fucking intersection. In the middle of the fucking intersection, fuck you, immediately snaps, drives the car in, a semicircle, blocking me from getting to the other fucking side.
Look out the road!
The window for him to get out of the way. At that point, Mr. Masters looked at us, raised his hands, and yelled obscenities at us to the point that he was threatening us. I circled around Mr. Masters as he stayed exactly where he was at, and at that point I realized that the robbery was not in our area. They dispatched him over the entire channel, but it wasn't in our area. I pulled onto the side of...
So Joe Casey is insisting that he stops dead in his tracks after saying, get the fuck out of the road and spinning it around me. He stopped and he was like, wait a second. That call probably wasn't the robbery. And that black man on the bicycle didn't have freckles and the pigmented skin that I had thought that my informant, the prostitute, because that's a good informant, a prostitute, right? That's good information. I'm sure she wouldn't be putting, you on her enemies. I'm sure that isn't what's going on there. That black dude wasn't part of the robbery. This man here, who's in sweatpants and a t-shirt with nothing in his hands, walking casually, might not actually be a criminal. Hold on. I'm calm now. Now I'm going to stop right here in the middle of the intersection in downtown Louisville and get out and have a little chit chat with him. To think and reflect, just about life. And I got some of my banking done, right? I went ahead and finished, I paid some bills, right? While I was spinning around, I made some phone calls. Called my mother, said that I loved her. I got a lot accomplished actually while I was spinning around there. And another thing that I got accomplished was I figured out that he had nothing to do with the fucking robbery. There really wasn't a fucking robbery. We're just a bunch of fucking assholes, and we were being a bunch of fucking assholes, and we beat the shit out of this motherfucker because he dared to tell us, fuck you. You know, we're the fucking police. You say fuck you to the police, you get your ass kicked. That's just like a rule, isn't it? You say fuck you to the police, you get your ass kicked. They're not there to protect the law, freedom of speech. They're the kingsmen there to oppress and molest you, to throw you into the fucking prison so they can get some more tax dollars. That's the police, right?
Look out the road!
That's America and Kentucky and KSP, one of the most corrupt fucking states in all the lands. And, you know, then he says that he was just going to talk to me. He was just going to stop and have a little chit-chat.
I circled around Mr. Masters as he stayed exactly where he was at. And at that point, I realized that the robbery was not in our area. They dispatched him over the entire channel, but it wasn't in our area. I pulled onto the side of 4th Street, stopped to talk to Mr. Masters, and as I did so, I could see him start to charge towards me.
And, you know, we almost ran into you. We're sorry about that, but you said fuck you and you threw your hand up. And, you know, I think you might be part of the robbery, or maybe you're affiliated with this black man on the bicycle. Who are you? I want to ask you some questions because I'm the fucking police and this is an investigation. This shit's important. This is actually more important than the robbery that was called in. Let's take, everybody stop. Hey, Sergeant, hey, the entire world, there's a fucking criminal right here on 4th and M Street. And we need to have a little conversation, a little talk with him. A little comfy chit chat. Don't get me wrong, okay? I'm not threatening him. It's not like I'm trying to jump him. It's not like I'm, you know, fucking pissed off at the fucking world and I just want to hurt people because I get off to that sadistic, you know, I get my jollies off to fucking sadistic type of pain on others. Ugh.
Street, because it's a busy street. I don't if you trample that. As I did so, he continued to swing on me, and I continued to yell police. My partner exited from the passenger side of my vehicle and tackled both of us to the ground. As we fought still on the ground, he continued to punch at me. I swung one time with the right hand, and I missed, and actually struck the concrete because he was moving around. After I struck the concrete, I immediately came back with the left hand, and I struck him in the middle of his face, and subdued him to the point where I could put him in handcuffs.
So, yeah, bullshit. I call fucking bullshit. They say that when, after we have our little chit-chat, right, we're fighting, and then he says once his partner tackles us, we're on the ground, and he says that I'm still fighting him, right? So I'm on my back, and I just laid there. I didn't fucking resist whatsoever. And the jury, you know, that was the 2 charges that they acquitted me of. I did not fucking resist arrest. So a jury of my peers, okay, fine. The older ladies understood that part, right? They also understood that I wasn't in disorderly conduct. It wasn't me that was being disorderly. It was him being disorderly. They even asked the question if they was like a contributory negligence, if they was guilty of that. They are, but they wasn't the ones that was on trial at the time. But he says that when I was down the ground, I was still fucking punching him, and that's when he punches, you know, with his right, hits the concrete, misses, he's like, ouch, my hand hurts, and then punches with his left hand, and then he breaks my fucking nose, you know, in 2 different spots, bleeding all over the fucking place, bleeding all over myself in jail, $28,000, getting molested in fucking jail. That was a ton of fucking fun. Getting my eye split open in jail. Spent the night, you know, then they didn't fix my fucking nose for like 10 fucking days, so it healed all fucking crooked and shit. It's been crooked for about 3.5 fucking years. Been a monster for fucking 3.5 years. You fucked up my entire life, my entire fucking existence. The LMPD fucking took away from me on December 7th, 2012, just because Joel Casey and Aaron Brenning are just a bunch of fucking, you know, little punk ass kids going around looking for a fight. And so I say bullshit. It was bullshit. When they said there was a police, I surrendered. Okay, and so actually my lesson from all this, from the entire police brutality incident, is when you're confronted with some fucking psycho who later on says he's the cop, either A, run like the fucking wind, right, get the fuck out of there, or B, arrest him and complete your mission. I just didn't complete. I just didn't arrest him and put his own handcuffs on him and then call the police and then say, hey, this psycho driver was called. He says he's the cop. I don't believe him. He's evidently he's pulling a Mitt Romney. He's fucking impersonating a police officer. No fucking way a cop is going to be driving all stupid and talking all fucking stupid. That's out my my tax dollars is going for that asshole to go around picking fights with random fucking people for no apparent reason whatsoever. But disrespect. You disrespected me first, so it was fucking equal. But you weren't used to, you're used to being, full badged and full fucking uniformed up, and then saying, hey, I'm the police, do as the fuck as I say. So you forgot. You forgot that you was a fucking, undercover motherfucker, and you showed your true colors. You showed who you actually were. You showed your fucking ass. And you should apologize to me. You should just fix my face and then drop the charges. But instead you put 4 fucking charges on me, a felony charge. I'm looking at 5 years in prison. My nose whistles, it fucked up my face. So, any other issues or problems that I would have had, that would have been a contributory factor, because I didn't want to leave I don't want to leave the house, because I don't feel fucking like the way I was before. And I never really liked the way I looked before, but I wanted to go back to the way it was before. I think I'm entitled to that, and I think it's bullshit, because the entire fucking time, the only thing I did wrong was I stood up for myself and I didn't complete the mission. I didn't actually arrest the motherfucker or beat them both down. Whatever my goal was at the time, I was just standing up for myself, so I didn't know where it was going to go. I just figured that they would both fucking back down and go about their way because they know they was in the wrong. That's the way I guess it would have worked in the streets, but since they got the authority of the Leviathan of the state, then they just they don't give a fuck about morality or ethics. They don't play by anybody's fucking rules whatsoever. And that's fucking, they got a gun, they got a badge, and we pay them, and they're entrusted with they have the public's trust. And so, it was bullshit. I was on my fucking back.
Did you say he was with the Viper?
Yes, sir. Okay. Yes.
Was he jaywalking?
We don't necessarily have a charge of jaywalking in Louisville. It's kind of a pedestrian yield right away to a motor vehicle, but he walked out in front of my vehicle, yes.
He also, the order of his fucking orders don't make any sense. I was on my fucking back, put him in handcuffs, and then he rolled me over, and then he says that's it. That's what he said the order of those events were, right? So I'm on my back, and he says he puts handcuffs on me. So if I'm on my back, the handcuffs are going to be put on me in the front. Then he rolls me over. Why are you putting me on my fucking stomach on the ground? That makes no fucking sense. In fact, I don't specifically remember how the handcuffs got on me, but I do know that it wasn't a fucking, after he punched me in the fucking face, I'm sitting there bleeding, and I'm just sitting upright, and I was cussing at him. I was like, what the fuck did you all do to this, you fucking asshole? What the fuck, man? I just walked to the fucking store, what the fuck? And they just kind of took it, and they listened to it, what the fuck I was saying, and then partially I think they listened to me and heard me out. In fact, Joel Casey is going to recommend to the sergeant that he just ticket and release me, because he didn't want it to go through the trial and go through, having to prove what he actually done. I would be embarrassed if I was Joel Casey and Aaron Browning and I had to fucking say what I did that day, why it was so fucking important to beat the shit out of a fucking citizen of Louisville. Why did you beat the shit out of him? Why did you do that? Wait, okay, and then he said the order was, he put him in handcuffs and then he rolled him over and then that's it. So if I'm in handcuffs and I'm on my back, he has no reason to roll me over. He's fucking lying, okay? So that's another lie. We didn't fight when we was on the ground. Bullshit, that's a fucking lie. He made that up because he had to cover up the resisting arrest, right? But the jury acquitted me of that and disorderly conduct and the assault charge. So 75% of, 3 out of the 4 charges that he fucking put on me were, considered not guilty by a grand jury or a jury of my peers with the actual jury trial, right? So the biggest thing, I feel like there's 2 narratives is what the fuck they're saying, and they got to keep all their lies together, and I don't. I know what the fuck happened. I remembered it. I wrote it all down so that way I could always remember what happened. So I haven't reviewed it for a while, but I could just go back and review it, and I'll probably remember things that I had forgotten. But
have you ever met Mr. Masters before?
No, I have not. Prior to that,
you didn't know Mr. Masters at all.
He wasn't intoxicated?
I couldn't deem him that he was intoxicated. He told me he was on his way to the store to get a beer, but to me, he didn't seem intoxicated at the time. He actually told me he was having a bad day. He was fighting with his girlfriend. That's why he charged my vehicle, and he picked the wrong vehicle, basically.
He didn't have no weapons on?
No weapons, no sir.
Anything else?
What is the age of Mr. Masters?
I believe 31, 32.
Anything else? All right. Wait outside for
Yes,
me.
ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
General basic, facts of the fucking case are very simple and they're the same every fucking time. So the reason, okay, the biggest fucking discrepancy is that they're saying they said that they was the police way before in time to where I should have known that that's who they were, and therefore I should have known and fucking submitted to them when they were fucking shouting it. I don't know if the window was up or down. I don't know if they know if the window was up or down. And I'm saying, which is the fucking truth, right? So I'm saying that they did not say that they were police. He just stopped in the middle of the fucking road, jumped out of the fucking car, and it was just fighting after that. There's no point in time when he could have fucking said the police. There's that, it just happened so damn quick he could not have fucking said it. If he said it, he's whispering it to himself or he's telling his partner, because he's not telling me. Neither is his fucking partner. His partner said, get the fuck out of the road, fuck you. Now he's spinning around the road. He ain't got time to be thinking about nothing else. Spins around the opposite side of the road, stops in the middle of the intersection, and when I had resolved that if that door opens, I'm gonna fucking swing a punch. No matter who the fuck comes out. I don't give a shit. Fuck this bullshit. I didn't do nothing. I'm just standing out here in the middle. I'm in the middle of the street, right? But I was walking to my destination, and I was crossed, looked both ways. I did what the fuck, a good pedestrian would do. But who's to expect a U-turn out of nowhere? They was sitting there. They was just sitting there. And no blinkers, indicates that they're going straight. They're not turning left or right. They're going straight. They give me no indication whatsoever because they're cops. They don't have to fucking let me know what they're doing, and I should just read their fucking mind. And then when they, almost run into me, I'm supposed to jump out of the road and say, sorry, sir, I didn't realize. And definitely don't say fuck you back to them. Oh my God, that's the biggest crime right there, right?
I hit him one time and put him in handcuffs, rolled him over, and that was the end of that exact incident.
Exercising your First Amendment rights and just saying fuck off to a stupid, abusive fucking piece of shit cop. You should have fucking listened to me. You should have fuck off. But instead, we have to fucking go through trials and all this other horse shit. So, him saying that he said the fucking police is bullshit because, the only time he actually in the trials specifically was saying that it was when he had stopped the car to get out to have a chit chat with me. That's when he said it, right? So he's coming out saying police, and he says his hand's in a surrender mode. He's not even fighting. He's surrendering right off to the, off from the get-go. And but that was I was resolved to once that door opened. So once that door opened, he took a step out. I swung and I punched him in the top of the head, and it brushed off the top of the side of his head. It's another lie that he says. He said he got hit in the side of the face. Well, there's pictures right after that. It shows no fucking injuries whatsoever. Just the top of his head. So it wasn't his face, the top of the head. And it brushed off of him, okay? And that's why he had to fucking punch me again, because I slightly brushed the top of his head. And so when it comes to him saying the fucking police, he didn't have time to say the fucking police. As soon as he opened the fucking door out and took a step, I was already, punching his head. And he didn't have fucking time to say it. So, it wasn't loud. It wasn't, saying it in bellicose and 50 million times like he's fucking saying. He says he said it like 50 million fucking times. Absolutely not. He did not fucking say it. As soon as he fucking said it, I surrendered and put my hands up. And then that's when he beat the shit out of me. So it was when I surrendered. That's when the fucking police went and fucking joined the fucking sadistic pleasure and got their fucking jollies off of hurting a fucking innocent man that was walking down the street minding his own business, not fucking with anybody, not going out, not getting drunk at a fucking bar and picking fights and shit, but going to get a beer to go back to my house to watch TV, and that was it. That was my Friday night. So
did you say he was with the Viper?
Yes, sir. Okay. Yes.
Was he jaywalking?
We don't necessarily have a charge of jaywalking in Louisville. It's kind of a pedestrian yield right away to a motor vehicle, but he walked out in front of my vehicle, yes.
So, that's what the fuck they did. That was what they, our resources and taxpayer resources was used on. So, they lied a million fucking times. That's another lie, right? It was on the left side of their face. No, it wasn't. It was the left side of his head. So that's something that a good lawyer could actually pinpoint and say, you're lying, that's bullshit. And that's pretty much that's it. And, yeah. So the advice, I guess, for Joel Casey would have been just fucking, listen to, I was being reasonable. I wanted an apology. which I don't understand why we don't fucking say we're sorry when we've done something wrong. I know there's liability reasons for that, but frankly, you should pay for my medical bills. You should have said that you're sorry, and you shouldn't have fucking put me through the entire court system. 4 charges, a felony. I'm looking at 5 fucking years in prison, and then I got molested and even, you know, fucking further victimized in jail. And then this is something on my record that I'll have to explain to anytime I, you know, go to apply for a job. That's not cool. That's fucking bullshit. And I did nothing wrong. I didn't even jaywalk. He even admitted that there's no jaywalking.
I circled around Mr. Masters as he stayed exactly where he was at, and at that point I realized that the robbery was not in our area. They dispatched him over the entire channel, but it wasn't in our area. I pulled onto the side of 4th Street.
Right, there's no fucking jaywalking. He said it like 15 times. This pedestrian has the right of way in Louisville, so there's no jaywalking law in Louisville. So everybody flood the streets and just walk all over the fucking place. There's no jaywalking rule. In Kentucky's driver's manual, there was like a reasonable sort of, you know, if there's a no crosswalk, you don't cross in the middle of the street, but you cross at an intersection. So they specifically says to go into the intersection. So I was listening to the driver's manual of Kentucky, which I think would be considered a legal document, since that's the manual that you study before you pass your Kentucky's driver's license test. And I guess I just don't know how to end this off, okay? So
I went to exit my vehicle completely, and he was still more than 10 feet away and was now in a dead sprint running towards me. As I was exiting my vehicle, I was raising my hands, yelling, "Police! Police! Police! Police!" And as he closed the distance, he swung and struck me in the left side of my face. After he struck me one time, I grabbed him by the inside of his shirt. I drove him away from our car and into the middle of 4th Street to get away from, into the middle of N Street to get away.
Yeah, I think the best fucking explanation, the best argument that I have with this entire case is if you just switch the roles, reverse the roles. What is good for the goose is good for the gander. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. So if the fucking police officer was me and I'm the cop, I'm Joel Casey driving the fucking car, and I almost run into the police officer in the middle of the street, and then I'm cussing at the cop, "Get the fuck out of the road, cop!" And then he was like, "Oh, fuck you, what's going on? I'm a cop, you can't be yelling and fucking trying to run over me and shit, what the hell?" And then when he says "fuck you" back to him, I fucking snap and just spin my car around, jump out the fucking car and be like, "What's now? What's up now? What you gonna do now there, you know, copper?" And you're telling me that he'd be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I was jaywalking and you clearly had a robbery and let's have a little chit chat." Nah, that's fucking bullshit. They would have, just like the judge said, they would have fucking beat the shit out of me. So if I was them and they was me, and I did what they did to them, what they did to me, it's clear as fuck that I would be in the wrong. Okay, so this is for anybody who kisses the cops' asses and don't understand, you know, true justice. So if, you know, I'll say it again because it's fucking important. If I had been in the car and I almost ran over a police officer and I was cussing at him to get the fuck out of the road, right? Almost run into him, get the fuck out of the road. He says, "Fuck you," and I spin the car around and I stop in front of him and I jump out of the car. That cop is going to have a little chit-chat with me. He's just going to have a little chit-chat. He's not going to be threatened. He's not going to be scared. I have nothing that says I'm a police officer on me. It just looks like he's being jumped by some fucking white trash, fucking redneck, fucking thug wannabe motherfuckers. And the cop is just going to stand there and just take that type of fucking intimidation and bullying and disrespect. No fucking way. Combine all those elements, I was definitely fucking threatened, and it's definitely self-defense. It's 100% self-defense. I do wish my lawyers would have went down and explained how it's not disorderly conduct, menacing, or resisting arrest, but they didn't fucking do that. And it's not any of those things because they started it. They did it first, you know. So if you have two people, just take the badges away, okay? You got a goose and you got a gander, okay? And the goose comes up to the gander and just fucking punches it in its fucking face. Well, the goose is going to be in the wrong, okay? You know, they could have been an argument or something could have happened precipitating up until that point, but, you know, it might have been a good reason. It might have even been a good reason, but the assault charge would be on the goose because he initiated contact and he started the fucking fight for no fucking apparent reason, right? And so the goose is them and I'm the fucking gander, And
They almost clip my legs. But I don't jump out of the way real fast, and because I don't jump out of the way when they almost run into me, they shout, "Get the out of the road."
Master says the officers were in plain clothes and an unmarked car and eventually confronted him. And he also admits he threw the first punch.
You know, I was scared for myself, my own physical person. So I swung and I punched the guy.
Master says that's when the second officer got involved.
And he says, "We're police." And when they said they're police, I'm like, oh my God, like, okay, this is crazy that you guys are acting that way, but you say you're police.
Metro Police won't talk about the case on camera because of the pending civil lawsuit, but according to this police report, the detectives identified themselves as police right away.
How you were feeling while this was going on.
yeah.
You admittedly were pretty angry when they almost hit you, right?
Objection to leading, Your Honor.
All right, what's the question again?
I'll rephrase.
All right.
Yeah. On cross-examination, and this is what I heard, so I'm just clarifying, was it your testimony that you were angry when they almost hit you?
I was going through a whole range of emotions. I was scared. I didn't know who they were. I was mad that somebody would be picking on me out of the blue for doing nothing to them. I was a little disappointed, you know, once they said that they're police, that they had started the encounter.
Well, I'm talking about before.
Believe me. Please, believe me. I feel good about this case, to be honest with you. I feel like it's 100%. I mean, what the fuck are you telling me? There's no person, I mean, if anything, maybe somebody would have ran away or just accepted to get, you know, their butt kicked, but maybe this might be just a man issue. Do women understand that cops can just beat the shit out of a man for no fucking apparent reason? I mean, seriously, I don't know what a woman has to do in order for a male police officer to actually have to physically restrain her. I have seen them, you know, arrest women and, you know, assault them. And it was hard to watch, and it was bullshit. But I also have seen them allow, you know, be more lenient too. So, yeah, that's the best argument is when you switch the roles. That's pretty much all I want to say. When you switch the roles, the goose and the gander. Justice says that, you know, is blind. Justice is blind. So it doesn't matter who's the aggressor and who's not the aggressor. Or it doesn't matter who has the badge or who's in the official capacity. It matters who's in the right and who's in the wrong. And they were in the wrong, you know. I get my two lessons is I should have either A, ran away, or B, finished what I started. I wanted to kick his ass. I don't know how that could have ended, right? That could have ended really bad. Or I could have arrested them, which I've read up on the law, and that's something that I can do. You can have a citizen's arrest on anybody. In fact, it's a law in Kentucky that if you witness a felony and you don't help out, then you could be liable, you know, convicted liable, like you helped.
So he takes his left hand, it's like a cowboy punch from like all the way up here, and just went whap, and then busted my nose and just shattered my nose, and then I'm bleeding everywhere.
Meanwhile, in addition to his medical issues, Masters is also facing several felony charges and was in court on Monday. We noticed he was not wearing the nose cast then and questioned him about it. In court yesterday, you didn't have that on, and so why do you have it on today?
Well, the surgery happened right after court, so court was 9 a.m. and then 1 p.m. is when I went to surgery.
Masters pleaded not guilty to menacing, resisting an arrest, and disorderly conduct. Meanwhile, his attorney has drafted this civil lawsuit and plans to file it sometime this week.
Right.
So, you said you were scared. You said you were angry. And it was a combination of emotions, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have any further questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right.
Mr. Koppel, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Price.
Fucking, you colluded with the fucking person. And that was back in the days of the sheriff and the, you know, the one-horse town and the sheriff, and they just had to pick a posse comitatus and just kind of pick folks in order to, you know, carry on with their mission and catch the bad guy. So if you got a posse comitatus and you didn't want to join the posse comitatus when the sheriff came rolling around, when you had a maniac with a gun, then you could be, you know, I guess, I don't know, tried for being a coward and thrown in jail. But they basically said that you're criminally liable just as if you were like the fucking guy with the gun toting, you know.
In the control room, I'm Stefan Johnson, WDRB News.
Stefan, thank you. One day after the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office determined there wasn't enough evidence to file criminal charges in that fatal Heavenly Angels daycare van crash, we discovered that the former owner could still pay a hefty price. There are at least 4 lawsuits.
So Joel Casey, he's a violent psycho, doesn't mind lying about his fucking incident and his actions. I wanted a fucking apology, pay my damn bills, and drop all the charges. That's all I fucking wanted. I've been consistent with this the entire time. Now we're having to sue him because that's the only way you can get any type of justice in this fucking society, in this system. At no point did they ask me about the truth or justice. That never really mattered. You know, the district judge, he had already been against me, Mr. Delahunty, even though some of my lawyers had said that they were, Mr. Delahunty liked me and that he was actually pulling for me. Bullshit, he wasn't pulling for me. He was covering his ass. He didn't want us to appeal the case. So I think it'd be interesting to actually hear what he would say about what is an appealable offense. Right, the jury tampering, that could have been an appealable offense, but then they might have said, well, that was our fault, so you can't do that. But it's tampering with the jury, right? You can't tamper with the jury. Now they know I got a fucking mother. And one guy actually said that, and he got kicked out because he was like, well, now I know he has a mother. As if he didn't fucking know before, but all of a sudden, because he met my mother, he's like, wait a second. This fucking guy who the judge and the prosecutor and the cops are saying is a criminal has a mother? I just can't stand this. This makes no sense. And he was honest about it, which is good, but he got dismissed because he said that it changed his perception of what he felt about me. And since he was the only one that admitted that changed his perception, he's the one who got dismissed. There were 7 people. There was one person, like an alternate, and then he was the one that was cut out, and then there was only 6 middle-aged white women. So I had 6 middle-aged white women who said that I wasn't being disorderly, who said that I wasn't resisting arrest, but who said I was menacing. So, and I think it was the big fat fucking one, the big fat piece of shit, that juror. I think she was the one who did it. But yeah, there's a little bit more about the LMPD police brutality trial and the bullshit I had to fucking go through and still have to go through.
Look out the road!